to be able to use effectively the digital resources available to get the necessary global recognition because of the company I'm in.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Folake. Anybody else wants to talk about how you are able to identify your audience and segment them, identify their needs and behavioral patterns and things like that? Welcome, Tinuke. I see you. Anybody? Funke, I saw your assignment. Do you want to talk about it?
Yes, I would like to just say something about it. Actually, when I went through the video, I watched the video, and I also went through the text. Using my present clients or audience,
okay,
I was able to segment my audience. You know, the different clients or audience that I have that I've been dealing with.
Yes.
So that was what I used to segment them according to their needs.
All right.
My target audience, they have different needs. Like I have the medical tourists, the students or youths who are going for vacation or schools. There are also people who are just going for, vacation. So that was what I used.
How you see the...
Oh, okay, that was Jane. I think it was an error. Continue, Funke.
So that with that in mind, I was able to segment them and their needs. They have different needs. I also have some clients who are, let me say, senior citizens.
Okay, yes, I saw that.
That I deal with. So there's a way I also deal with them. Like the ones that are young, there's a way I deal with them. You understand? The way we relate. So most of my clients, anyway, we have cordial relationships anyway. So
because the assignment also, you are supposed to identify their unique needs. Their specific needs, because across segments you have different. Each group is looking for something different from you.
Different. Yes.
All right. I saw your assignment, actually. I saw that you put in a lot of work into it. That was nice. Tinuke. You are hiding because I cannot see your face, Abi. Jane. Is that Tinuke laughing there? Welcome, Jane. Putting my baby to sleep. Oh, okay. Sorry, Tinuke. Sorry.
Yes, sorry. Good evening.
Good evening, Jane. Hi. How was this finding your audience, defining your audience? How was the exercise for you? And how are you able to?
I'm ashamed to say I've not done it.
Don't worry.
I'm such a bad student and I don't want to carry over.
Yeah, but at this rate, it's like you're going to carry over.
No, I reject it.
I
was graduate. I can quickly, I don't know if I can answer without having.
Yes, you can. You don't worry, you're not the only one, because I understand that, juggling this with, like I said, really,
adult education.
Exactly. So I'm a bit. So some people too haven't done theirs, and they talk. So just talk about it generally. Were you able to watch any of the videos at all, or what, or who is your primary audience, and how do you identify the segments within that audience?
Mompreneur, we are still on that journey. That's why we are here.
Okay, our facilitator is here.
I'm still on that journey.
Okay, so when you watch the videos anyway, I just want to encourage you all to do the exercises, because that's how you can get, because this is supposed to be a transformation. I want a station where at the end of this course, everybody has something to show, to say, oh, I went through this. I sat down to think about this. Because like Jen said, it's adult education. There are some things that deep down inside, but you need somebody to put fire under your bum bum and make you sit down. Yes, sit down and bring it out. And that's what this is about. I can't really define these things for you, but I can point you in the direction and make you sit down and think and put these things down. Because sometimes when you put them down, it just gives you clarity. You suddenly realize, oh my God, yes, this is how I'm supposed to be doing this. This is what I'm supposed to do, and stuff like that. Okay. So I see that Akwugo is here. For those of you who haven't done your assignment, please try to take some time out this weekend. This one, there are just 2 videos and 1 note. It's not too much, right? And it's just something, sit down, think about it, and put your audience in different segments and categories, so that you can use that, because that's the foundation. Okay, Fola is here. So that's the foundation for the next few classes. I don't want us to be going.
Okay, I'm here now.
Tinuke?
Can I speak?
Okay,
Hi.
welcome. Hi.
Thank you.
Right. So
So I did the assignment.
I'm proud of you.
I really enjoyed it. I like the column of how to address the things. Made me see things I haven't been doing, what I can do to improve visibility and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good one.
Awesome. I'm glad you did
I was able to raise my hand. Yeah, I did
All
it.
right. Yeah. Okay. So Akwugo is here. And Akwugo is going to be talking to us about taking advantage of international scholarships. And she's going to. This is not a lecture. She's not coming here to come and share. Hi, Fola. I see you. Welcome. I didn't see your assignment.
Hi, Shadi.
I didn't see your assignment, Sha. Did you send it eventually? Last I checked, it wasn't there. Kilo
sorry.
You're not the only one. Don't worry. There are plenty.
You'll get it. You'll get it between now and weekend.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. So today's class really is, we have a guest facilitator. She'll be sharing with us practical tips on how to access funding and scholarships for short courses, master's programs, PhDs, whatever, using her own self and I will allow her to introduce herself. Akwugo is a firehouse, a mom. She has gone through the phase that many of us have gone. Yes, so she's laughing here. She has gone through the phase that many of us have gone through of, when you are this A student, always acing everything, drama, they are there, everything, they are there. Then suddenly you get married, you have children, and you start realizing that people, people see that as something that should hold you back. I remember her sharing the first time this came, because her husband was in Abuja. She had to go to Abuja looking for a job. And the first thing the man asked her was, so you just got married, meaning you're planning to have children. And for the first time it hit her and I was like, what is this? So she went through that phase, but now she has reconnected with herself and she's going to share with us all the things she did sorry, I'm just trying to admit someone else. Yeah. How do I put this word now? To get her groove back, to build her confidence again. Because these things can make you, when you feel that you are lacking in some things, it can make you just feel like, oh my God, I'm not good enough, but there are some things that can be fixed. We're in a global world now. The opportunities are there, plenty. How do we take advantage of these opportunities? So Akwugo, welcome and thank you so much.
Hi. Okay, so good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me on your program.
Thank you.
Just to say, okay, so a question, is this a rule that we don't put on videos during these Zoom calls?
All of them,
everybody is so late that everybody...
They don't want to show their face. I was showing my face before, I was the only one.
Me? Because I'm a very, I
Let
like
me show
to.
my face. Let me show my face.
Okay, so it's fine. So let's, for as many of us that can, it would be good for us to show our faces. I'm just coming back from somewhere. So me, I'm Kim Pink, and I'm like, this thing cannot waste. Let's come on a live class. So, but it's all right. It's okay. I'll work with whatever we have. But I just
Thank you
I
for
feel
now.
like it's much
Good
better
to
when I
see your
can.
face.
I think it's better for communicate.
Yeah.
But it helps me communicate properly so that I know when I'm connecting, and I know when the lighting here is a bit off, but I think it's good enough.
It's good enough. We can see your
So
face.
I know when I'm connecting, I know when I need to add. Yeah, okay. I know when I need to add information. I know when I need to, things like that. It's just it just works better for me. But if you're in a place where you can't, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, hi. Hello, Fola. Hello, Morenike. Nice to meet you. And hello, everybody else. So my name is Akwugo. I'm a quick introduction. My introductions are always, I have a problem introducing myself. For Folishade has given you like a snippet of it. But okay, so concerning this particular call today, so currently I am, like she said, I'm a wife, a mother of 3 boisterous children, very energetic. And I'm thankful for that. I'm currently working in the public sector in the area of food security and financial inclusion. Well, that broad area, which is, it has always been one of my goals to work in international development. So it's actually in line with what I've always wanted to do, which is fantastic. But it wasn't a straight road, which is what I shared with Mofolishade a while back, where I said, women need to be given full apologies to the guys, but women need to be given a cheat sheet about these things. Like, they just tell us, oh, let's just do well in school. First. That's all you need to do. Just be doing your best, be having the A's. Nobody ever tells you that at the point where you're supposed to now, get married, settle down, that the rules change. They change, and nobody tells you. So you have to figure that out all by yourself. So that was a huge shock for me. But anyway, in terms of scholarships, I've always been one that appreciated value of education, a good education. So my background, it's not like we're from, I could say, a middle-class family, right? And so it wasn't even an option on whether you are going to school or that one is not. My mother was an electrical engineer in the 70s, early 70s, after the war. So there are some kind of lies and some kind of rough play. You cannot be playing with parents like that. So we're just respectful, and we just went to class and did what people are supposed to do because it was easier. You cannot maneuver your way out of school work. You cannot maneuver your way out of getting your results home at the end of the session. There's no point. So we just followed the straight and narrow, right? But having said that, I knew very early that one of my goals was to have an education abroad. And since, well, I was born in Nigeria, and unless you had some, I don't know, some huge fund somewhere, or some sort of trust that had been put aside for your children very early, it was incredibly expensive to go to school in the UK, US at that time. So I had 2 options. It's either I stayed and worked for a few years and then paid my way through a master's degree, or I started to look for a way to fund it outside of savings and family. So I decided to go for option 2 very early. Very early, meaning I started looking for a master's degree scholarship in 200 level. And I did a 5-year course. So I can be that serious. So I actually searched for give or take about 3 to 4 years constantly. And so what I'm sharing is basically, they are the lessons I learned along the way. And why I'm also sharing this is because as at now, I have been able to access 3 fully funded scholarships, right? One was for my master's degree in the UK, fully funded, meaning school fees, accommodation, and a stipend, a monthly stipend throughout my studies. I've also been able to get the last 2 I got fairly recently as a professional. So I got introduced to the world of short courses much later in my career because I didn't know there was anything like that existed. So apparently there's this whole community of short courses and scholarships as well for mid-level professionals or entrepreneurs or people who are not academics, right? I only got to know about that much later. And I also got a fully funded scholarship for that program, which was in Switzerland. So tuition, accommodation, and the stipend as well. So that was a combination of 2 scholarships. So I thought about it and I said, because I keep having these things this thing I'm talking about, I've done it, unconsciously for many years, right? So I've advised people on how to look for these scholarships, and I've advised them on how to package their application, advised them on how to, basically what Ofolishade is doing on this course, but my focus was mostly on getting yourself noticed by all these institutions that fund education, be it academic education or professional education, right? And in the times that I've done it, the most recent ones that I know I can share are a good friend of mine who was home for 10 years. We graduated around the same time, but she decided to sit back and stay home and have her children. And she did not work. So she had no work experience whatsoever, not a day's work experience. But what she did was she went in the area of research. So she volunteered. She was always in touch with our lecturers. She was writing papers, academic papers and articles. She went back to do a master's degree, and then she applied for a PhD abroad, which she got fully funded. And now she's graduated and she's a lecturer in the US, in Scotland, actually. A very well-paid lecturer. She offered to pay my salary a while back, and I was like, no, thank you. I'll manage what I have. It was like banter, but what I'm saying is education is one of those ways that you can really place yourself. You can choose your spots and carve a niche for yourself in the world just by going back to school, either for a short course or for another degree. And in addition, doing that abroad. So the point is not that you can't get these opportunities in Nigeria or you can't get them, locally. The point is you are going to expand your horizons much more than you imagine and much more than you understand when you travel abroad. There's no other explanation. Just go abroad. If you have not gone abroad, the educational experience you have, right, no matter how good, is one-dimensional because you are from here. You've gone to school here. All the pictures you have in your mind have originated from here. That's one-dimensional. There is no way with the world the way it's going now, especially with this whole pandemic that totally scattered the way everything was before. So even if you didn't know that your competition was every other person in this world, now you know, because COVID has made it an open playing field, right? So it will be a travesty for you to know of these opportunities have these opportunities and not use them. So that's the whole point of me coming to share here today. And I don't know, does anybody have anything against a foreign education? If you do, just put it in the chat box, or like you can raise your hand, and if you want to speak, you can speak. No, Felicia, don't laugh. Oh, we need to tackle this matter now, so that if there's any issue, because I guess for
most people, the fear is or the concern is how would I fund it? Okay, or maybe what if I don't have what it takes?
Fantastic.
Maybe I don't have what it takes or something.
If it's just funding, okay, cool. So we're on the same page. If it's funding and having what it takes, we're on the same page. So we can agree that this is a good idea. I don't need to overflog the issue, right? Apart from exposure, it's worthy of mention. A lot of countries are looking for smart people. Forget about being a visitor or going on a visitor's visa to some of these countries. Once you can show that you're smart, every country is trying to poach the smartest people in the world. And if you can show without any reasonable doubts that you are one of the smartest people in the world, you have, the world is your oyster, because you can pick and choose which countries you actually want to live in, right? And thirdly, you can use these opportunities to reposition yourself back in Nigeria, because believe it or not, a lot of this rides on perception, which is why we're doing a course in branding, right? Having a foreign certificate or experience whatsoever, even if it's a short course or a long course, whatever it is seen as an advantage, even in the corporate sector, which is why you see there are some management positions. When you get to the certain levels, you see that management, C-suite executives, they just get up and they go to Harvard Business School, or they go to Cornell, or they go to London School, Imperial College, just to do a short course, or they do an MBA in a top tier school. Those things are not, it's not because they like school. It's because there are certain levels you get to. It's about your network and your net worth. So, and a good way to increase your network as a person of influence is to be part of these alumni. And some alumni are very powerful. Things like schools like Harvard, schools like, that's why they're so powerful, and that's why they wield so much influence, is because a lot of them, even after you leave school, you can still extract some value from just being, or from just saying you're an alumnus of this university, right? It cuts across everything: business, it cuts across job offers, it cuts across recommendations for jobs, recommendations for positions. We need to take these things really seriously. It's a huge opportunity, and we're not tapping into it as much as we should.
Someone has also raised the concern of, apart from funding, being away from your immediate family.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'll deal with these two now. So now that we've gotten past why it's important and why it makes sense to go this route, the next step is money, right? So there are two, well, I could say, yeah, there are two ways to look out for this funding issue. The first thing is, be honest about your finances. Be brutally honest about your finances, because it will direct how you search, right? So for me, I can only share my experience and say, I knew that there was zero. We could not afford to send me abroad at all. It was not in the picture. It was not in the budget. It was not a line item in the budget. So me bringing it up meant I had to figure out a way to get all of the funding. Maybe for pocket money and stuff like that, hey, that could have been raised. But There was no need. I didn't deceive myself that I was looking for, okay, just half or 1/4. I was looking for everything, right? So the way you search, when you're looking for partial, they are different. That's what I'm saying. So, but to be fair, there are also opportunities that people don't know about, right? The first misconception is that people only look to Europe and North America for education. And that's like, they're just 2 continents out of the entire world. And in the Europe, it's not even the entire Europe. People only look at the UK because it's English speaking. And maybe some other few countries clustered around that place because they're familiar. In North America, people only look at the USA because it's familiar. But within Europe itself, there are universities that you can afford, even on a very tight budget. But we don't know where they are, and we don't look in that direction. There are countries where the fees are free. University education is almost free. Countries like Germany, Austria, I think Denmark. I'm trying to, okay, I'll call it up because I just typed it out for somebody. But before, so that we don't waste any time, I can send it to the group much later, right? I'll also send you links of some of the places where you can search out these scholarships worldwide. So for instance, if your funding is the main issue, what I suggest is don't limit yourself to countries that everybody is talking about. Why? First of all, because the competition is crazy. Because everybody is in those countries, right? Secondly, you have to consider your situation. That's your personal circumstance. For me, when I was searching for the first scholarship, I was single. And so I could move. I didn't have to think of children. I didn't have to think of my spouse getting work. But when you have a family, right, you cannot be searching like everybody is searching. You have to prioritize your own needs as a student with a family. What that means is you would have to look at what are the immigration laws. Can my spouse work? Can my children go to school? Do I need extra in terms of fees for my children if they come with me? Do I need to bring a family member? Is it possible to bring a family member? These are the questions you need to find out. And there are countries that are better for students with families than others. So so basically what I would advise is there's a scholarship for everybody under the sun, right? There is no hard and fast rule. Most times people think I have to have a first class to access a scholarship. I did not graduate with a first class and I've accessed 3. I know people that have had 2 2s and have gone on to have scholarships. I know of somebody that his GPA was 1.9. He was asked to withdraw. The only time he woke up and saw the lights and the Spirit of God touched him was when he I don't know, he became friends with people that just made him think deeply. And in his final year, 500 level of engineering, he made a 5.0 GPA. It is that 5.0 GPA that he used to get a scholarship to Australia. They ignored the 1.9 nonsense that he did because he was able to convince the scholarship board that, look, I am actually really smart, but I was stupid when I was younger and I wasn't thinking straight. But this, my final year results, has shown you that I have the capacity to do research and this is my strength. And I have experience in engineering because he worked in an engineering firm. So there's no hard and fast rule, right? What I tell people is the first thing you need to do is decide. The first step of getting a scholarship is deciding that you're going to get the scholarship. Let me explain. When I started looking for a scholarship, right, it did not occur to me that I would not get it. I don't know if you get what I mean. It never crossed my mind that, I might do all this thing and not get a scholarship. Never, not once, never. That was how strong my belief was, because yes, I had prepped myself. I had graduated with a good result. Yes, it wasn't a first class, but it was, it was a good GPA, right? But even aside that, clear with what I wanted from the very beginning. Anything that made me deviate from it, come, let's go for this party, come, let's do this, come, let's do that, I'll go for the party. I'm not even going to claim that I was holy like that. I'll go for the party, I'll socialize and everything. But when I come back to my room, I do a self-assessment. If I have a test the next day or an exam the next day, and I know I have not read to the point where I am satisfied with myself that I will get an A, and I know that getting a B in that course means that my 4.0 GPA that I have calculated well is going to change to a 3.5, I will stay up all night and read that thing and go and write my A paper the next day. That's how focused I was. Why was I that focused? Because I had made a decision that I am going to get a scholarship to apply to the UK for a master's degree when I am done with school. I made that decision early. I didn't go around telling people, oh, I want to do a master's degree. What do you think? Do you think is something I can do? But they said this master's is hard though. How much is master's degree now? I didn't ask any of those questions, but I put it as a goal. How? I did not know, but I put it as a goal. 3 things that are important in anything, but I'll apply it to the scholarship section. First of all, you need to have the awareness. So there are people in this world that still don't know that they can go to school for free in certain countries. Now you have the awareness. You cannot pretend you did not hear it. There are places you can go practically free of charge, right? So that one has been struck off. Number 2, belief. There are people who know that these scholarships exist, but they do not believe that they are the kinds of people that get scholarships. You hear things like, I'm not from that kind of family. There are people that know about these things. Those kind of things don't happen for me. I've heard all sorts. And it is so bad that I, a scholarship recipient, will talk to you as my friend and say, look, this is what I did. Do it this way. Continue doing it till you get it. I did it. You know me. You know me very well. I will never lie to you that this is what I did when I did something else. We have gone past that. Still, at the end of the discussion, they will ask me, but who do you know? Who did you give your paper to? Who did you call after you wrote the scholarship exam? Who did you? So the belief is not there. And if the belief is not there, you're wasting your time. Me, my belief was bulletproof. The only thing I did not know was, I did not know what country, and I did not know what school. But as for getting a scholarship, I could use my chest, my full chest mind to tell I'm on track. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm on track. That's the kind of belief you need to have, right? Regardless of your circumstance, regardless of the situation. Now, the third thing is the principles within the model. I said awareness, I said belief, and I've said the principles within the model. So some people are aware that there are scholarships all over the world. And they're like, yeah, they know a few people that have gotten scholarships. So people think that, okay, I know there are scholarships, I know I can get one if I just apply the proper method. But some people will never sit down and just do the work. They will not do the work because it is work. I will not lie to you and tell you it is something you just sit down, go to Google, type scholarship for Nigerians, apply, and they will just dash you scholarship. It's a lie. I applied to dozens of places. I can't even accountable before I got the one. But that's the thing. You only need one. You don't need uncountable. But it takes discipline and it takes persistence to sit down and do the work. Even when people are laughing at you and saying, look at you, instead of you to just manage and go to this Nigerian university that is 200K that you can afford, you are killing yourself. Do the work. Learn what are the principles that apply in this scholarship search. What do I need to do to learn them? What sites do I need to go to learn them? You are looking for scholarships. You don't know about opportunity desk. You don't know about scholarships positions. You don't know about findaphd.com, findamasters.com. So where are you? What are you searching? There are certain places that you must be waking up. See, this is my last one that I got while I was working. When I wake up, I search. That's where I go. I just wake up and go to this site. Oh, then I signed up for alerts for 2 of them. So the alerts come to my phone. That's the kind of obsessive behavior you have to have, because see, this thing is war. Is a war. It's not like your I don't know, maybe it's my competitive spirit that is at play here, because I don't go inside anything to come third or fourth. I don't understand it. If I'm entering, if I'm taking the trouble to enter, it's because we want to scatter, we want to dominate the team. I don't do half measures. Shade is laughing because I don't do half measures. As in, it's not like I'm bragging. It just is. That's the only way I know how to do things. So if you're not willing to go full, I can tell just by talking to people when they come to me. There was someone that came to me for advice, and I asked her to get a report done. So what I do for people is there's an additional service I do. So if I see that maybe you don't have time, you're a professional, you're working hard, you have other expectations that are really tying you down, and you just don't have time to focus and do it. I do offer a service that does that, and it's a paid service. But even when she was talking to me, she started with, but how many people have gotten these reports from you? I was like, I don't understand. Do you need to know about scholarships or not? And she was like, okay. But do they have the one that I would be? She was basically like picking, like she was picking from a menu. I'm like, Auntie, are you the scholarship board? I'm not understanding. You can't go in, you're the one looking for something, right? It's this entitlement mentality that we have, that people owe us something. Nobody owes you anything. Your job is to make your profile good without misrepresenting yourself, I have to add. You make your profile so good that the people on the other side are like, this is the kind of person we want in our community. Because when you leave, you will become an ambassador for the school. So doing this personal branding course is actually a huge plus. I wish I had something like this when I was starting out, because then I would have had a portfolio for community service. I would have had a portfolio for arts and dance. I would have had a portfolio for all my different interests. I would have found a way to document it properly, to show that I'm doing work in these areas. If it's community service, if it's leadership, if it's a speaking engagement. We don't take those things seriously in Nigeria, but they are gold outside of this country, which is why you need to focus on what makes you marketable, not just here, but in Africa and the rest of the world. Somebody else mentioned leaving your family and going. So I'm not sure whether, are you talking about a long-term trip, right? That's what you're talking about, like a master's degree, like for 1 year, or for a PhD for like 3 years. Because if it's for a short course, then most times they're like between 2 weeks to a month. So I don't know who asked that question, so that I can answer properly.
Folake. She typed it in the, but
So
I'm sure what she had in mind was like, maybe like a long master's or PhD.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Actually
Falake.
referring to 12 months period.
Okay.
12 to 24 months.
A 12-month period. Okay. So, but is your spouse on board with you even considering it in the first place? Let's start from there, because I have two different stories to tell on this matter. So if he is, then you have two goals. The first goal is to find a school that can sponsor you, or find a school that has fees that are automatically reduced for international students, and find a country that can both give you both that one and give you the option of traveling with your family. Because 1 year is quite a long time. So some families can manage being apart for that period. Others cannot. I've seen families do both. So it really depends on you. If your spouse is willing to relocate and find a job there for the duration of your master's, then fine. If he's not, then it's now on you to look for a country where both of you can consider immigrating to when you're done, right? So maybe a country where he can be coming and going regularly, or a country where you can go with the kids, which is usually preferable. I don't know how old your children are, and I don't know if, because it's based on so many different things, but this is a discussion you have to have and agree with your spouse from the onset. Sometimes they will be reluctant because they don't have all the facts, right? So what I suggest is look for all the options first. Do a broad overview of what you're looking for, right? So if you're looking for a master's degree, a 12-month program, you should look for 12-month programs in Europe that have a family-friendly policy, where students are given extra support when they come with their children. So healthcare and all of that. If you bring those, men like facts. Well, man, he likes facts. Spreadsheets, Excel. Show me, don't be telling me story. Just when you bring it, if the children come, how much will it cost? If they stay in Nigeria, how much will it cost? So for all the breakdown, if you show that it is cheaper for healthcare-wise, school-wise, so countries like Canada, for instance, I know of a friend who was able to move her entire family and go to school. And she was able to convince her husband because she showed him the cost. That 3 of their children were in private schools here in Nigeria. And yes, it would mean that they would have to downsize, move into a smaller apartment and all of that, but that was temporary. And then Canada also has a very good immigration policy. So families, and they are family friendly. So they actually encourage you to go with your family to school. And they're welcoming if you decide to immigrate. So you see what I mean about like, it largely, what you want is what will determine where you should be looking. So if you just want a quick program where you can just do and come back, I don't know why, but if that's what you want, then there are certain countries that are very good for that. And well, yeah, it's a free world. So there are countries that are good for that. You get your degree and they'll send you off on your way, right? For you with children, I would say, look at countries that are welcoming immigration-wise, because you really don't know what will happen in the space of 1 year. You might find that you have opportunities that are opening up for you there, and you might want your family to stay on a little longer. So if you're in a place where the rules are a bit tight, it might be additional stress for you, right? So from experience, countries like countries in Europe are pretty family friendly. Most of them are family friendly. Most of them have very good social security systems. So as long as you follow the rules and you show that you can sustain yourself and your family while you're there, even if you're on a scholarship, right? as long as you follow the rules, don't go and show. Anyway, I know the people here are not those kind of people. People are upstanding, upright members of the society, right? But once you're able to show that you are, another question. Yeah, so I hope I've answered the question for you.
So we have one
right?
hand.
Okay.
We have, I see Morenike's hand is up, and then Morenike, and then someone else, Fola says, any age restrictions? Because when you were talking about restrictions, I was thinking about age. Yes, age. For those of us that have entered our 40s, and all those things.
Look, I have to even cross my leg to answer this question because like this country can rob you of your creativity just by virtue of age. Honestly, there are people who are starting new careers in their 40s and they're abroad. I know someone in oil and gas. She moved over to Canada and she's starting a new career in insurance. And she's enjoying it. And she's in her 40s. She's older than by a margin. She's now 43, 44. The thing is, employer policies abroad, they do not ask for your age. It's against the law for them to ask for your age. So even in school, it's against the law for them to ask for your age during your application as a way to select you for a call or for a scholarship. It's against the law. So the only place that age is a big deal is where we are.
In your mind.
So if you decide right now that you want to do a totally new program and start afresh and you are 40, you can do it. All they want to know is that you're ready to do the work. See, this is a value-driven society that we run. Forget what we have in this our small enclosed space, right? And what we've been exposed to. The picture we have grown up with is that maybe you can wuru to the answer. Just do like number 1 and 2, and somebody will help you push the paper forward that you've done 1 to 10. That is a very dangerous way to run things. And the reason why I say that is when you go outside of this enclosure, you cannot survive. Because everything is value driven. When you come to the table, they will ask you, what can you do? And you need to prove to them that you can do what you say you can do. There's no working, you're really working. When they say 8-hour days, they mean 8-hour days. You will put in the work and you put in the value, right? Go appeals to people to compete favorably and don't want to be giving handouts, don't want to be helped, don't want to be, slotted in, put your name under there. You don't want that kind of thing. You just want to do your work and get your pay. Or a situation where a system works, where you can put in effort and there's a resulting reward. There's no story at the end of the day. You're not being asked where you are from. You're not being told you're too old. That is justice. So no, age is not a barrier. That's what all this is about. Age is not a barrier at all. As long as you provide the value, no matter what age you are. Right? Nobody cares what age you are. I think someone was asking me about the countries.
Yes, family the
countries. From off the top of my head, I know the UK is family friendly because when I mean family friendly, I mean like if you're searching, right? You can do a Google search. Okay, I'll tell us how to do a basic search before I go. But even if you do a Google search of universities or I don't know, a master's in chemical engineering, for instance, right? It will bring out so many different results. So what I suggest is masters in chemical engineering in the UK, masters in chemical engineering in the US, masters in chemical engineering, Canada, master's in chemical engineering, do these specific searches, right? Be broad, because the tendency is that instead of just Germany, they will also add something like maybe Norway, Sweden, because all those countries are around each other. All Scandinavian countries are family friendly. So the Netherlands, Denmark, and Netherlands is a fantastic country in terms of education for children. So Netherlands, Finland, Norway, these Scandinavian countries, Brazil is a of nobody knows that country. You can just be there chilling, and it's right in the middle. It's such a nice location because you're not too far from Europe, you're not too far from the US, you're not too far from Africa, right? And their schools are top notch. Brazilian universities are in the top 100 schools in the world, right? Nobody knows about them because they are not popular. And another thing is open your mind to learning a new language. So that's an area that people struggle with. Even France, this French that we are running away from, other African countries speak French. So even if I were to learn a new language, French is one of the new ones everybody should be able to learn, right? So Scandinavian countries are good. A lot of countries in Europe are good, like the UK, Scotland, Ireland, I think. But the thing with Ireland is on a student visa, you can't go with your family. But as a worker, you can go with your family. It's kind of a weird arrangement, I know, but yeah, I just found that out and I was wondering why. Anyway, so those are the kind of things you should check out. For the US, yes, they would allow you go with your family. So, and they are very, your children can integrate and go to US schools as a student. For Australia is very family friendly as well. New Zealand, the one that the prime minister is a woman, they are very family friendly, obviously. They don't joke with all of that. They don't encourage family separation at all. So those are very family friendly places. They're very warm and kind. At least from feedback I got. In my last course, I had someone from New Zealand that was trying to encourage me to come to New Zealand because she was like, you would do very well in New Zealand. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll think about it.
Yeah, somebody
Australia
saying,
is far.
Australia is far.
Jane, far from where? Far is relative. I know what you mean, but I would, like what I also suggest is look, always have a priority list. So when you've decided that this is what you want to do, and you've done an overview, so you've off the top of your head, you've checked for countries and all of that. Jane, oh my God, you've checked for countries that might suit you. When you've checked for the countries that might suit you, that's when you now zero in on those countries and start checking for the specific courses you want to do. There are even countries like Spain. There are some schools that their fees are not up to 3,000 euros, 4,000 euros for the year, and they still have scholarships. So you can actually beat that thing down to almost zero, wow. Right? So it's but you won't know because you're not looking in those directions. Everybody's going to the UK. Everybody's looking at the US. Everybody's looking at which other country are they rushing to? One thing I've learned is the herd mentality is a terrible thing. Where everybody's rushing to, just calm down and ask yourself, what is it that I want? What is it that I want? It is from what you want that you now draw your own agenda. If it falls with what everybody else is doing, that's fine. But you're not doing it because everybody else is doing it, right? You're doing it because it falls within your own plan for yourself. So the society should not dictate to you what you should be doing in terms of your education, in terms of your family, in terms of your dreams. It is not, it is backwards, right? You will be confused. Decide what you want first. So if you're deciding to go abroad for this, and you want a scholarship and you want to immigrate, there is a different strategy for that. So there are specific countries you will be looking for in that regard. So countries like the UK, Canada, what's it called? A part of Europe that are seriously poaching people in the sciences, people in engineering, people in IT, they have a program to poach those kinds of people. Australia, UK, so it's like, you need to figure out how your own strategy fits into this country's strategy. Everything is strategic. Nothing happens by chance. I can promise you that. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So
Sorry,
don't
Akwugo.
believe. Yeah. Another question. Did I miss something?
No. This is from me. I wanted to just you to shed a little more light on short courses. So like you mentioned short courses earlier for some people who just want to boost their profile, or who want access. Yes, who also want access to alumni, I mean a network.
The short courses, yes. So like I said, I'm going to share most of the links with Nofurishade after the call. So I'll categorize them, most of the search engines that can help you find scholarships for master's and PhD, and most of them that can help you for short courses. I'll differentiate them. So for short courses, the strategy is a bit different because the short courses and their scholarships are not as many as master's degrees and PhD scholarships, right? So I know a very good one is, and then again, Scandinavian countries as well are very generous when it comes to short courses. So you have the Swedish government, they give scholarships for short courses. The Australian government gives scholarships for short courses. I think the New Zealand government as well gives scholarships for short courses. And then there's the Orange Knowledge Program, OKP. So this is like run by what they do is they offer scholarships to people from developing countries who are either mid-level management or, in positions where they're making decisions that affect maybe communities or states or large populations, right? So a lot of these scholarships so let me give you a background. A lot of these organizations are doing this to strengthen institutions in developing countries, because what they postulate is, if you have more people who are trained in developing countries, trained properly, have the right information, have the right networks, that this will filter down into the systems in developing economies, and they will become developed with time, just because of this knowledge exchange. So a good number of these countries actually spend a portion of their budgets on funding scholars from developing countries. Most people do not know that. It is a budget every year, and it is set aside every year, and you can apply every year until you get one. So it's like the courses are there. Okay, so for me, I think personally, I know of the ones in Netherlands covered by the OKP scholarship, and that's full funding. Before COVID, it was full funding flights and everything. But now, because a lot of them are online, I think it just covers the tuition and do it online. But now that the world is opening up again, right, you still have the option of now looking forward to 2022, where hopefully the borders will be open and then you can actually do the physical exchange, because it's so much more fun when you can actually travel to new places, fully funded, all expenses paid, and go and be learning. As I see, even if they say I should go and learn aeronautical engineering, I'll go and learn it if they are going to take me to a country I want to go to. I'm just kidding. But anyway, it's something that if you know where to look and you know the timelines, then you can prepare yourself. Prepare yourself in terms of step out of your box. In the office, things like you step out and what do you call it, volunteer to do stuff, write a report, be in a committee, because all those things are things you write down. You write down in your statement of intent. Tell them, I am a member of social committee. We defended this what before the government, before the Senate, and they passed it as law. Those are the kinds of things that push you ahead, right? In Nigeria, they will say it's ITK, but you are the one that knows your strategy and you know what you are working towards. So please and please, which is why I said you have to decide this thing early, so that what people say does not faze you. There's nothing they have not called me. Consultant. Madam report writer. Akwugo will do it. She's the one that wants to, she's the encyclopedia. Shebi, I went on scholarship and came back in that same office. So please, it's okay. There's just know, all you need to do is be persistent, know where to look, and be consistent and disciplined. Prepare yourself, put yourself forward for leadership positions, get yourself acquainted with people that are willing to give you good references. Another thing is, in the office, you need to identify people that are willing to sponsor you. Sponsor is like somebody that's going to stick their neck out for you. Like if they call them in the middle of the night and say, look, we need you to tell us about this, your person. What should we do with her? We are trying to decide between she and another person. And the sponsor will sell your market even when you are not there. That's what I mean by getting somebody like on your side. And you have to have at least one in your office, if possible, two. So what volunteering for all those positions does is that it makes you visible and it makes you get close to all these people. And if you play your cards right, at the end of the day, you would have made a good impression to at least 4, 5, or 6 different people at different times. What that means is that at times like this, when you need somebody to either speak on your behalf or write something on your behalf, they will not think twice about it. The problem with some of us is that we are too aggressive in the workplace. This work is a mixture of your technical ability and emotional intelligence. A lot of us lack in this area of emotional intelligence. I've called people up within 24 hours notice or less, and told them, look, I'm sorry this is coming late, but I need a reference. I didn't know the deadline was this early, blah, blah, blah. And they gave me a reference that night. And these are my bosses. So apart from getting the work done, you need to be able to build relationships. So don't wait until you need something to ask for it. Start building relationships now with people around you, whoever it is you've worked with, your supervisor, or somebody in the office that is acquainted with your work. Because you will need, it's not enough for you to tell the scholarship board that you are a good worker. They also need somebody that is either your supervisor or somebody you respect to say the same things and even better about you. So when you're looking for short courses, first of all, make sure that you put your best foot forward all the time. Show your work in the best light. Outline what it is you have done. If you have led any movement, or if you have led any positive change, write it down. This is where you brag. In that your CV and your personal statement is where you have the right to brag. Things like if you graduated first 5 throughout your university or throughout secondary school, I graduated top 10% throughout my education. That one is in my personal statement, all the personal statements I send out. Because I worked for it, please, yes, please, thank you. I'm intelligent and I can now say it without being bad. This is what you say it. Do you understand? So I tell people when you apply, don't be modest. Don't do it, obviously, but you've done the work. And if you've done the work, you should say that you've done the work, right? So for short courses, you have fewer options. I have to be honest, because there aren't too many universities. So all the ones I've mentioned are the ones I know, but there are many more. Okay, so for short courses, let me tell you where you would find a load of information on short courses. Opportunity Desk is my go-to place for short courses because I like the way they categorize all their opportunities, right? So if you go to Opportunity Desk, you have, and this is, I don't have any affiliation with Opportunity Desk. I'm just telling you that this is where I go myself. I go to look for short courses is Opportunity Desk. So even when I did not have any experience in short courses, the first place that I learned was Opportunity Desk. On Opportunity Desk, there's a dash on the dashboard. You have the different headings, and then there are short courses. You can click on short courses, and you will see all the options for short courses. What I recommend, this is another. People are taking this one. This is. If I tell you the value of this this discussion, if you had to pay, but it's okay. Anything from officially, no problem, no problem. So on Opportunity Desk, if you click on short courses, what I recommend is, even if you feel you do not match most of the eligibility criteria, read them. Look at all the ones that have expired. Look at all the ones that expired from last year, because the likelihood is that they will be reposted again this year, right? The only thing that changes is maybe hardly change. Maybe they might waive some exams because of COVID, or they might be a bit more now. But most times, the report courses from the previous years is the same as this year. So what I even advised, which is what I did, was knew about this scholarship that I applied for the year before. So what I did was I looked at the eligibility, said, okay, you have to be in this particular area, you have to show this, you have to show that. And that is the same criteria for most of them, right? So what I did was I started packaging some of the things I was doing carelessly and not taking account of. Because another thing we don't do is document in Nigeria. I don't know if it's a thing, but we do not document. Do not document our achievement. We do not document when we make some sort of achieve a milestone. We do not document. We are terrible with documenting. And abroad, these are the things they use as evidence. So when you do a community,
okay, is this me or is this Akwugo? Can anybody hear me? It's like Akwugo is frozen. I don't know if it's me or if it's her.
It's her.
It's her.
It's Akwugo.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
We can hear you.
All right.
Sorry, when will the session end? Some of us are enjoying it and we have another commitment for tonight. And I can't make up my mind.
We'll be rounding off.
What to do.
We'll be rounding off soon. It shouldn't even be too long. Because she'll make available all the links and stuff. Yeah, welcome back, Akwugo.
Back. Sorry. Okay, so I was just rounding up and I was saying, if you, I don't know where I stopped off, but I was saying, when you look through all the requirements, you can now start, it's a thing of immersing yourself in that environment where you're saying, look, this scholarship is my own. What do they need me to do to make this scholarship my own? How can I modify my behavior or, pimp up my CV to make this scholarship my own? It is, look, I don't know, I don't mean to sound religious, but this is an exercise in faith, in all sincerity. It is not about saying, oh, I am somebody just joined. Someone just joined. Okay. I can hear someone speaking.
I've
okay.
muted.
This is an exercise in faith. But like the Bible says, apologies to everybody that is not a Christian, but I'm just using the reference. Faith without works is dead. So as you are shouting, the scholarship is my own, and you do not go to the site to go and check what is the eligibility criteria for this in the first place, you are wasting your time. And when you check it, you should act on it. If they say, if you have a 2-1, you can come. But if you have a 2-2, we can consider you if you have leadership skills or community service. What does that mean? I need to go and get leadership community service and take up a leadership role. It's a very simple thing. And there's nothing, it is strategic. It is, and guess what? Most of those courses and those scholarships have relatively the same requirements. So in getting better to be able to aspire to apply to one, you're getting better to apply to all of them. That's the truth. So I hope I've answered that question. I can't remember what question it was. My chats have gone off because I went off and came back in.
Yeah.
But I like I said, I didn't want to waste time on reading out all the links and stuff. But I will send them to Folashade to send to,
and I'll share. Okay.
Yes, and you can share. So,
thank you.
I think final tips on how to search practically, how to do it. One way to do it is to go to Google and just search, like I said, but you get millions and millions of hits, so it doesn't make sense. What I say is, using based on our previous discussion, do your own personal ranking for yourself and say, what is important to me? I need to find a place where they have good schools. I need to find a place where I can live in a school environment where my kids can go to school if you have kids. Or I need to live in a place where employment rate is high because I'm single and I want to work for a year or two before I go back to Nigeria. Those are the kinds of things that make your own rankings. I always tell people, don't be national ranking or world ranking. All those things are relative. Harvard might be number 1, right? But the school that's better in your course might be number 175. So don't be easily moved. I was going to say by the things of this world, but don't be easily moved by, flashy, loud-sounding names. Look, there are over 3,000 universities in the US alone. But you don't hear of all of them. You only hear of the really popular ones, right? So do your own ranking, your own personal ranking for yourself, excuse me, based on what you want, right? So if you're quick in and out, like I said, do the ranking for yourself based on that. When you've done that, look at your finances, like I said. Can you afford to actually pay if the fees are very are reduced? Because there are countries where the fees are next to nothing and their living costs are very low. A lot of them are Spain, even Turkey, Spain, the United Arab Emirates too is another country that's opening its borders up because it's trying to retain talent. It's trying to attract talent, sorry. Another thing is if you're interested in data, AI, sciences, look, you can pick any country. Another nugget is if you're in sciences, biology, microbiology, chemistry, physics, forget that they've been using you to clean the floor in Nigeria. Outside, abroad, you are gold. You are what? Gold. Just tell them, this is my degree. I am a microbiologist. You are good to go. Even if you do not have lab experience, the fact that you have done a degree in any of the biologies, life sciences, most of those courses are fully funded across board. Always looking for people. So if you know people in these courses they are always looking for, they are never complete in their labs, never. And this is worldwide. It is a worldwide problem. So if you have any sharp students or sharp people in that line of work, in that line of, even if you've done it, and maybe your work experience is in something else, you can, there are ways to still, there are ways to still work around it where you can go back to school.
Your degree. Your degree.
There are ways. It's not always easy, but there are ways. So, like I said, look at your finances. If you can, look at the option of paying in a school that is not too much in the news, where you might need to learn a new language. Is a plus for you. And then decide, do you want to immigrate or do you want to, in short, there's no deciding, you want to immigrate, right? So if you're doing the immigration, then you need to look for countries where your family will find it easier to settle, right? So those are the things that should control your search. So if you go to Google, don't just type PhD in biology. Type PhD in biology in, I don't know, in New York or in Maryland, and then do searches like top 10 places for children to raise children. Do random searches like that, things that are important to you. Then when you document all those ones, you can now look for the states that have, you know how we do that thing in economics where you have like 3 circles, and all of them, there are some that will intersect. The ones that intersect will be your priority list of states, right? That is your preferred state. The ones that don't intersect will be your second batch. The ones that are manageable will be your third batch. So you have a priority list. That is now your ranking. And you can now use that to do your search.
All right.
Okay, I'll stop now.
Yes, thank you so much. Because Akwugo, some people are glued. Some people are glued to the Zoom, even though they have other commitments, because they're like, oh my God, I don't want to miss. Oh, there's a question. Somebody said, what if I studied biochemistry more than 10 years ago and I've not been working in that space? Is it still possible to get a master's in a related course?
Yes, it's possible, but what have you been doing? Have you been doing anything in the sciences at all? Or what, can you type what your experience is in?
I know she's been doing a lot of stuff with
so that I know.
herbal medicine, herbal remedy.
Okay, so
I think it's sort of in line now. Abibuki, is it not?
She's a biochemist now.
Now.
You are doing
herbal remedies, essential oils, and all of that.
Look at. Of course. Yes, now. Oh my God. This is just, it's just a packaging thing. You just need to, and that's where we fall short, I think, in Africa in general, is that we've been convinced that our own education is less. You can tell them that, yes, you're an expert in herbal
remedies.
I don't know. Herbal remedies. Yeah, that you used your background in biochemistry to experiment with the herbal flora and fauna in Nigeria. Yes. And using your biochemistry experience, you've been able to formulate a total of 15 different products, which are used for blah, 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 blah.
I've
Is that
even
not a
taken
CV?
courses in that line. Actually, thanks, Jerry. I've even taken courses, short courses, diploma
Yes,
courses
now.
in that line. But what I'm
That's
asking
what
is
I'm
because
saying.
I've done other things that are not in that line. So if I'm preparing a CV now, my CV is, is this CV?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I've done independent. I've always been working for myself. I've not really, but I've done I've done politics. I've done. You can imagine. I've exploited
That's the leadership, whatever that will get you the scholarship. That's what
even in science, even in science related science.
Yes, even in science.
Okay, you know what, guys?
This is the thing, right? In you need to go, but in education in Nigeria is the only, like, we're so one-dimensional. The only thing we look at are our grades, right? But I'm even thinking of doing a program for children, parents that are about to have children going to university, but because like education abroad is in, they're in different buckets. So you have people who will get sports scholarships because they are good in football, lawn tennis, track and field. They get direct scholarships. There are people that are good in music, dance, they get direct scholarships. They might be studying science, but maybe they just have a university that has a very strong arts background and they want to be part of that. They can study whatever they want to study and be doing that as part of their contribution to the school, and they'll give them a tuition rebate. Do you get what I mean? There are people that are literally debating, public speaking. They can be studying whatever they want to study, but they'll be representing the school in debates, representing the school in public fora, representing the school in public speaking. Look, this school is looking for how to open chest and say, look, these are our people. So any avenue that they need to get those kind of people into their fold, they will take it. So you have, in fact, your own CV self is more than it's more than a CV, because you'll be able to do leadership, like Mofolusha, they said. You still worked in your biochemistry because you're using, and you are doing community service because you are saying you looked inwards and saw that we had so many herbs that were not being utilized. So you use biochemistry knowledge to find ways that we can utilize it, thereby employing local hands, ensuring people got jobs, and creating opportunities for people who were in the rural areas farming these herbs and had lost jobs. You are even in economy, creating an economy safe. You don't even know. So yes, you can. It's all about,
thank you so much.
See, it's all about presentation. Yeah, you can, definitely.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Akwugo. This has been amazing. I'm sure that,
Thank you.
yes, so everyone who's on, if you have any final question before we close, Akwugo will still share the document with us that I will share with everyone. Yeah. So any questions, anybody? Okay. Thank you so much, Akwugo. Thank you, because this thing that she has done for us.
You're welcome.
This thing that she has done for us, this is Jara on top of the personal branding, because the reason why, the reason why I brought her on this is because as much as the whole branding thing is about boosting your profile, being the best self, your best self. And she has shown us how we can improve our profiles, leverage fully funded scholarships. People that are having all these things and they don't have 10 heads, right? So we are capable of doing anything. All we have to do is believe. And she has shared so much with us that we need to digest. We'll end the class now and close. Shego says thank you. Buki says thank you. Fola had to leave, even though it was good. Yeah, thank you. Funke as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Akwugo. All right, everyone.
Thank you. Let's get to
Please do your assignments this weekend, Ejo. Runaway students. Okay? Thank you. All right.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.